G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Broker Coach podcast. Our mission is to be the most valuable podcast in the entire universe for mortgage brokers. And I'm your host, Sam Panetta. Today, we are joined by the lovely Morgan Owen from Penny Finance.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm so good.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. We've had an interesting last little while. We've not been able to figure out where to get coffee in Sydney, which to me as a Melburnian is just absolutely ludicrous. But anyway, we got there.
That's a very Melbourne take. That is a very Melbourne take, Morgan. No coffee in Sydney, everyone, in case you needed to know. You're very popular, Morgan. I have a long list of questions here that I'm gonna go through with you today, and I've got a few of my own questions I want to ask you too.
Let's do it.
Ready to go?
Get into it, yeah.
All right. So, how important has your personal brand been to building the mortgage business?
I was actually just talking about this yesterday with one of my mentees. So when I started Penny, it was a time that I was really struggling, to be honest. Like, I'd just lost a business. I was just coming out of my marriage and I was head down, bum up in the business. So I had a Morgan Instagram and I was like, I need to create a business Instagram. I need to have a Penny Instagram. So once I kind of went through that process of like setting everything up, I actually decided to go full tilt on the business, because at that time, the business was me, right? And so instead of just posting interest rates and offset accounts, I actually just started to share my journey and started to just share what I was doing and how I was doing it, and working out of my 1-bedroom apartment and dealing with COVID and starting a business. And I think that that's kind of what connected. So I feel like maybe I probably treated Penny in the early days as a bit of a personal brand. But then as time went on and I started to bring in more people and Penny turned into obviously more of an organization, which was always the intention, I've then now had to try to separate Morgan from Penny. And it is interesting because for a lot of for the most part, Penny is still me. Mm-hmm. And when I talk to people now about brand and marketing, I say all the time, there are companies out there that have done an incredible job at connecting with you, right? Like, let's take Apple as an example. Yeah. Yeah. That is a company that people fucking love, right? They bring out a new phone that doesn't even have anything new and people will buy it, right?
Yes.
But for the most part, an SME doesn't kind of have that reach, yeah? So instead of that, I personally think that people connect better with people.
Yes.
So that's where you as the founder comes into play. And, you're doing that with your broker coaching business as well. It is you, but at some point, you're going to have to figure out, maybe, depending on scale and what the plans are, how you transition that. So back to the original question, how important is personal brand? I think it's very, very, very important, but I also think it depends on the stage of the business that you're at and what your plan for the business is. Because if the business is you, well, you're going to have to lean into that if you want this to go anywhere.
Just pump it.
Lean in. Yeah. Yeah, correct.
Oh, you've given me like 50 questions off the back of that, Morgan. So, all right, I've got one for you. Obviously, coming out of the marriage, the last business failed, as you mentioned, and then you're like, hey, we're going to go gung-ho with Penny. Where did you find the confidence to smash out social media content, obviously coming off the back of a tougher time in your life?
Oh my God. It was so hard. I can't even. Let me ask you this. Do you have a fear of like people judging you in any way?
Look, every single time I post, I still have like, I'm going to get judged for this post. Like,
Correct.
It doesn't go away. I've done 1,000 posts this year and it doesn't get any easier every post.
Correct. So what I've learned over the journey is that people are going to judge you no matter what. Mm-hmm. Literally, no matter what you do with your entire life, good, bad, ugly, people are going to judge you. So why not just do whatever the fuck you want? Right? And at the end of the day, sorry, was that a little candid?
No,
at the end of the day, where we are right now, if you are not putting content out, you are being left behind.
I said something spicy the other day on social media that got a little bit of attention. I said in 5 years, the top 100 brokers are all going to be influencers. What do you think when I say something like that?
Well, I'm excited. But I can imagine that there's a lot of people freaking out about that fact. 100%. Like, like look at over the years and, all the different revolutions that have happened, yada, yada, yada. Just take the last little bit with the AI, content creation, how easy things are. Like I walked in here earlier and they were commenting on the bits and pieces that I have on my phone just from being around Sydney today. Like it's so easy these days to farm the ideas, create the content, but it 100% comes back down to, are you really clear on your business, who you are, what you want to do, what you want to say, who you want to help, and you got to build your confidence around it. And frankly, the only way to do that is to just do it. If you're just going to keep sitting back and thinking, oh, I'll just leave that to everybody else to do, well, that's just what you're going to keep doing, isn't it?
How do you come up with your ideas for the content?
Great question. It is, I think it's easy, to be honest. And I don't want that to be controversial in any way. I want that to be helpful, because if you go right back to the start, I said that all I started to do was document my journey. That's it. All I was doing was documenting my journey. So the easiest way to create content is to just document what you do, right? So as a mortgage broker, throughout your whole day, you're going to do a whole bunch of various things. You're going to get your coffee in the morning. You're going to talk to your team. You're going to talk to clients. You're going to come up with strategies. You're going to work till late. Whatever it is, the things that you're working on, let's just take a client example. Let's just say you speak to the client when they come in, you understand where they're at, you show them how to get there, and they've reached their goal. How fucking cool is that, right? That is what we get to do as mortgage brokers at the end of the day. Now, if you're then sharing that, guess what? That's going to relate to somebody else as well. So documenting what you do, I think, is the easiest way to do it, and it's a good place to start. Outside of that, guys, if you are not using ChatGPT to help organize your life and come up with some ideas and inspiration, that is so easy now. It used to be a lot harder. Now I can take one idea, one piece of content, and I can flip that into 5 different things really easily. Now, if you are using ChatGPT, don't be lazy with it, right? Read it. Make sure that it sounds right. Make sure it's in your tone of voice. Make sure it's not hallucinating and spitting out bullshit. Make sure you get rid of those stupid lines that make it so obvious that it's ChatGPT. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
It's funny because I got a guy who does a little bit of copy for me, and sometimes I can see it's ChatGPT. I'm like, mate, misspell a couple of things. Like, do you know what I mean? That's not how I talk.
Make it relatable. Exactly.
What would you say to someone who, when you talk about documenting your journey and everything you do every day, and I completely resonate with that. Like, mortgage brokers are super lucky with what they get to do because they're making very meaningful material impacts to people's lives. Like, it's your first home, it's building a property portfolio, it's like whatever it is, it's huge. We're dealing
with people's money, and for the most part, we're dealing with their biggest purchase that they'll probably ever make.
Right? It's their one largest decision, financial decision they're ever going to make in their entire lives. What would you say to someone who might say, yeah, but Morgan, no one cares what I do every day?
Bullshit. Bullshit. How do you think that, why are the Kardashians famous?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
People love watching. Go back to the judgmental thing, right? Even the people that don't like me.
They still watch you.
Yeah, correct. Especially if there's this perception that there's success in any way, right? Because then people want to get on board with that. They want to try to replicate that. They want to do it whatever they can to have that for themselves. So they're going to watch and try to do that, right? So no, you asked me that earlier today, actually, before we got on. I used to worry about, will people listen? Do people even care what I have to say, right? But if I go all the way back to when I started my career, I got promoted so quickly, so early. I was doing so well in kind of everything that I did, and I was impacting and I was influencing, and I was able to have really meaningful relationships with people from a very young age. And it was just something that was in me that I clearly was coming across with some sort of conviction, some sort of confidence in what I was talking about, and people started listening. And I got to a point where I was like, what the fuck are they listening to? I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, literally, like, this imposter syndrome was epic. And so to that point, I went and did an MBA because I was like, I'll do an MBA, then I'll be full of confidence and I'll know what I'm talking about. Spent all that money, took me 4 years. I'm not saying it was a waste of time, but what it did teach me was I actually did know what I was talking about. And so it filled me with more confidence to keep going with that. Not everyone's going to care. That's another thing I'm going to say. Like, not everyone will like you. And that's kind of the point, right? It's okay to be a little bit polarizing. It's okay to have people that do like you. It's okay to have people that don't necessarily resonate with you. Guys, we're in fucking mortgage broking. Everyone needs debt. Everyone needs what we have and what we're offering, right? So if you've got pretty much, for the most part, a humongous part of the population that we can deal with, we can't help everybody. You don't need to help everybody. You don't need to appeal to everybody. So just, you might look at my stuff and be like, oh, Morgan's already putting the stuff out there. I can't do that. No, you can, because the way you're going to put it out and the way that you're going to speak and your method is going to relate to someone different to me, more than likely.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this lately, where it's people are almost relating more to the person than they are to the content or the message that's in the content. You know what I mean? The material that's in the content. It's almost the person themselves that's producing the know, like, and trust factor.
No, like, and trust factor. That's exactly what it is. No, like, trust. People will not buy from you if they don't like you. And they can't like you if they don't know you. So going back to your question about, should people be putting content out there? If you're going to start out any business, let's not even worry about mortgage broking for a second. Let's just say you want to start a cafe and you are the best fucking barista getting around. You know how to do that latte art. You know how to do all the things. You remember everybody's name. You are amazing.
Yeah.
If you open that shop and you put it somewhere where people can't find you, can't walk past you, can't find you online, well, it doesn't matter how good you are, does it? You have to put yourself out there. Otherwise, people will never know you.
What was the biggest lesson that you took out from the last business that you brought into Penny?
In all honesty, the biggest lesson I should have taken out of that, I didn't. And then I fucked it again. Made the same mistake
just
again.
To make sure you had to be
yeah
you had to be certain.
Yeah.
So you just thought I'll try this again to make sure it doesn't work.
This has been a big learning journey for me, more specifically probably in the last 12 months, more than any other time in my life. What I've worked out about myself is I'm a very trusting person. And you think that everyone kind of has similar values and morals and standards and ethics and everything that you do. And then you get into business and you start meeting lots of people and you kind of work out that that's just simply not true. And I got into business with someone and, not a bad person necessarily, but just very misaligned in the way that we went about things and misaligned on how we were going to do the day-to-day and misaligned on the long term. And when you've got that misalignment, again, take it out of business for a sec. Think about your personal relationships. If you don't have an alignment with the people that you're surrounded by that are impacting your life, it's going to either be really, really, really stressful or you're going to be very, very, very unhappy, right? I probably made a bad call on the partnership initially, and I can put that down to a lot of things, but most of it came down to just blind trust, blind faith that everything will work out. And that's very much my personality, We say yes, worry about the details later.
I saw you walking around the city today. We didn't know where we were going, but you were doing it with confidence. I'm like, I'll follow you, Morgan. You seem to know where you're going.
See? There you go. There you go. I don't even know I do that. But yes, that's exactly right. But wrong person, didn't work out. Came into Penny and I was like, you know what? I am going to do this myself. I'm just going to do it my way, going to do it myself. All good. But I never set out to have a business that was just me. Never. That wasn't my intention. Penny is always, and it will be, significantly larger than me and even bigger than finance, to be honest. But then I decided a couple of years ago, once I had an opportunity to have some people buy into Penny, and it's happened to me every year since I've had Penny. I've had people coming to me.
People wanting to take an equity stake in the Penny
business. Yeah. Which is obviously flattering, right? You kind of know you're doing something maybe right if you've got people that want to come in and back you. And so I'd said no a few times and then I said yes.
Oh, what? I didn't expect this.
No, it's not a good story.
Oh, no.
Don't get too excited.
I'm just going to sit down. I'll just
simmer.
I'll simmer. I'll finish hearing the story first.
Well, we need a whole entire other podcast to get into it. But the upshot of that was I did a similar thing where I went into it and I was like, you know what, pretty much fuck it. I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll work it out as we go. Because we had a lot of things that we were aligned with, especially in those early conversations. So then things progressed, buy-in happened, and then once it did, everything kind of shifted for me. Because a lot of the promises that were made, a lot of the way of doing business, a lot of the, what was said was, you're going to do you, Morgan, you do, and we're going to go do this part, right, to help you grow. And it was the part of an expansion plan.
Mm.
But what it ended up just being was more of a micromanage Morgan scenario. And I am not a person that can cope under those sort of environments whatsoever.
You need to be let loose to go do whatever you want to do.
If I'm feeling stifled, I can't be me. I can't be creative. I can't do my thing. And what it boils down to is I didn't have a framework. I didn't go through enough of a process. I didn't understand things enough. The whole legal part of contracts and understanding all of that stuff and what I was really getting myself into, I just signed it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, mate, no. It's probably not going to be fine, especially if you don't understand it. So anyway, the people piece is a big one. The legal piece is a big one. The accounting piece is a big one. Understanding all of those things. If you're going to get into buying and selling businesses and buying and selling equity stakes, like you want to get your shit together and you want to get a handle on all of that stuff and not just, again, blind faith, trust that all of that's just going to go according to plan. So long story short, bought in, I've had to buy them back out at a premium to buy my own business back.
To buy your own business. And look, you pay it, right? You pay it for the peace of mind. You pay it every single day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been running Penny for now?
5 years.
5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did it take you to go from Penny is Morgan and Morgan's doing all the doing to this is now a brokerage that's being built?
I never did it all on my own.
You had team members from day one?
One team member from day one.
Perfect.
One team member from day one. And I was very purposeful about that. I had no idea how I was going to pay her. I had less than $0. When I started Penny, I had less than $0. My mum helped me buy her a laptop. We, like I said, worked out of my one-bedroom apartment that I also had to take money out of my super to even pay the bond on at the time. Yeah, it was a struggle. It was a really hard time, but that's not what I was putting out online. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was putting out that I was starting out, but I wasn't putting out just how hard it was, right? Because I'm not a whinger, I'm not a complainer, I'm a get on with it, like let's go. And the way that I thought about it was I'm going to document this, I'm going to take the photos, and later I'm going to talk about it. Once I get out the other side, once I make this thing work, I'll then talk about how I got there.
Like right now on this podcast.
Right now. Like here we are, exactly. But so from day one, I had very, very first day, I had Mel. And so Mel and we'd actually worked together since my first broking job, which I worked for a mortgage manager when I first started in finance. So I learned a lot there. Stayed there for a couple of years before I then started that next business. That didn't work, then started Penny. So that's the other thing. I think people think I started Penny and that's when I started. And that's also just not true. Like I'd had years and years and years.
How long were you in the game before Penny?
Another 4 years before that.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, another 4 years before that. So I'm coming up to be 10-ish next year.
Do you think that people have that perception because the amount of attention that you've created with your social media since launching Penny has it grew exponentially within a quick amount of time?
Yeah, I think so. When I started in finance, interestingly, the guy that I worked for at the time, he didn't think that would work. He didn't think social media would work. He didn't think you could connect with people online. He didn't want me to meet clients online. He wanted me to drive and go sit in their lounge rooms. And, that was also really challenging. I'm like 20, what would have I been? Maybe like 20, must have been 26 or 27-ish at the time. Young. I didn't fucking know anything. And I'm driving out and I'm sitting in these people's lounge rooms. I've got their kids climbing on me. Their
fucking dog jumps on you. We've all been there.
Like, this is not okay.
Kids flicking peas at you and shit. We've all been there.
Yeah. So I just learned super quickly that I just wanted to do this differently, and I didn't quite know if it would work. But prior to that, I'd been in business development. I'd been in a lot of sales, marketing roles, and I was like, I'm just going to take that skill set that I already have and just apply it to this archaic industry. Because as I was getting around, I was realizing just how sort of behind everyone kind of was. Everyone was doing it a certain way, and that's the way that it was. And, you know, you had paper, you know, signatures, and I was just, I feel like we can digitize a lot of this shit. This was like pre-bloody digital fact find, which again, this isn't even that long ago.
Yeah.
So like, look how far we've come. I was chatting with one of my mentees yesterday, and I was showing her quickly. It's like, when I started, I used to have to fill in all
Download the Excels from the CBA website. Yeah.
And then if that fit, then we knew, you know, we all get it. If you get it, you get it, right?
Yeah.
But that's not realistically even that long ago. So much has changed, and I feel like that's going to continue to happen. You got to keep your finger on the pulse. You got to stay ahead of that shit. And it's actually easier when you lean into the tech and you lean into that. And I've clearly proved him wrong, because then when COVID hit, right? So I'd started Penny midway through 2020.
Yeah.
COVID, like
Yeah.
hectic COVID.
Like, COVID
and
sucked, man.
Yeah. And if you are listening and you're in Melbourne, you really fucking get it.
Yeah.
Right?
You guys had it
We
shit,
had
eh?
it so hard. We were so locked down. I was isolated from my family, like just everything, all piled on top of each other. But what it did do was meant that I could just focus on the business. So that was a bit of a blessing. But it also meant all these things that I wanted to do anyway, which was be an online business, meet people on Zoom, have them digitally book into my calendar, post on social media to generate leads and not be reliant on referral partners who, guys, let's just be clear, that's relying on them doing their job really well and then sending you a client. Like, that's cool. That's great. We need
It's
them.
so outside of your control.
Right?
It's so outside of your control.
And that's what I've said all along. I'm like, why would I hinge my whole entire business on somebody else sending me deals when I feel like the better way to do that would be to create a system where I can just turn the tap on and off?
You're talking my language, Morgan. You're talking my language.
It just seemed logical to me, right? But I hadn't been stifled by, well, that's just the way it is, you know, because I came out of the industry, and at the time people were like, oh my God, you don't have any finance experience? And I was like, no, mate, I was in fitness before this. And look, I'm doing all right. You can do it.
It's funny when you were describing the way of like doing home loans digitally. I think back now, I'm like, who doesn't do it like that now? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely people, Sam.
I know there is,
There
but it's
absolutely people still doing paper fact finds, still doing everything manually, meeting all their clients face to face, which like obviously there's something really nice about the face to face thing.
Yes.
You know, and I hope that does come back around to an extent. You know, if you do have an office and you do have local clients, I know with my larger, more commercial clients, my development clients, they do like the face to face, and having an office presence is important for that client, but
yes.
that's not where the bulk of the volume is. And because of my online presence and the fact that I have a reach around the country, I need a digital option.
You logistically cannot meet, you know what I mean? You're not going to jump on a plane to Perth, you know, for a 20-minute meeting. So what does Penny look like today? How does the team look
today? Yeah. So it's a nice mix now. And this is another thing. I didn't know what I was doing, right? Like, let's just be clear. Like, there's days where I still don't think I know what I'm doing. But the mix that I've got right now is feeling really nice. So I've wanted to, from the very beginning, I've never wanted to be the main loan writer. But I've been the main loan writer, right? And then I've had to work out over the time how I'm going to start to remove myself from that, which means you've got to then obviously put people in who can do that role for you, right? So right now there's 4 brokers in the business. I am one of those brokers, but I'm doing less and less and less and less and less purposefully,
yes,
so that I can obviously focus on other things, because let's just be clear, there's only so many hours in the day, and I think everyone should be playing to their strengths. I'm beginning to figure out what mine are, and I need to lean in that, because that's what's going to affect the biggest impact on the business. It's not me writing the loans.
Yes.
That's just it. That is just plain and simple. Then, so I have an associate, Billy. So once I sort of do the initial call with the client, which is something that I still do for my commercial and my development clients, Billy takes care of pretty much the rest. Then obviously the other brokers, they're doing it all the way from the calls all the way through. We have Finn, who's our processing guru. He's processing everybody's deals, and he's amazing. I absolutely love Finn. He's
processing deals for 4 brokers.
Yes.
He must be a monster.
He's a monster, and he's like just chewing them up and spitting them out. He bloody loves it. And every day he's like, give me more. You know, I'm like, I love this so much. Like, are you my child? Like, this this is weird. He's
That's
awesome.
so good.
That just energy. I'm like, oh, it's just it. And over the years, it's really taken some time to just find the right people around me. Because that's another thing. Like I've hired plenty of people over the years, not bad people, just not right for either Penny or just not right for me. And I'm me. So I'm sorry. Like there's really only so many ways that I can show up and do the thing. And if that's going to be a misalignment in some way, well, it's probably just not going to work.
Every time I've met you, you've been the same person. So that's just who you are. And I am who I am. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's easier to change the people around you than it is to change yourself. You are who you are in this life.
Correct. And that is absolutely what I've had to do. So the brokers, Finn doing the processing. I've got Margs, who's my EA. She is bloody wonderful. Lifesaver. So she manages the inbox, she manages the calls, she manages all the gatekeeping calls from all the leads that come in offline to make sure that we're not getting broker calls that aren't pre-qualified.
She's doing the triage or the pre-qualification before everything. A deal moves to a broker.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Before a call moves to a broker. Yep. I've got Ash and she takes care of the back book. So farming the back book, doing all the repricing, farming any new opportunities, just that real client success sort of stuff, the growth factor.
You need.
You need, absolutely. So that needs a dedicated person once your book gets to a certain size, I think. I've got two amazing people over in the Philippines. One doing settlements, one doing admin. So I like to think my business kind of operates a bit like a production line. So you've got me at the front doing all the lead gen. So that all comes in. We've got Margs doing the vetting. Once that happens, the brokers get booked calls in their calendars, pre-vetted, ready to go, all the notes. They already know everything pretty much that there is to know. Then it's just about a deep dive into what strategy we need to be doing with them. Once we know we're moving forward, it goes off to admin. May is the one then making sure that the portal's all perfect, making sure the documents are all collected, hands back over to the broker to actually do the work on the prelim. Once it's signed off, goes into processing. Finn spits that out, make sure that gets approved. Then it moves to settlement.
And brokers are done with it. When they hand it over, brokers aren't going back in if there's exceptions or conditions or anything like that.
Finn, on occasion, might need to revert back. If he does, he will. But for the most part, he can take care of it.
Unless it's something real curvy, really spicy, then the broker's got to get involved.
Or if you've got to, change something from a credit perspective and you've got to run it back through the client, well, cool, we've got to do that. But for the most part, he's got full authority at this point. It's taking some time. You can't give that straight away, right? But yeah, he just takes care of it. He's just like, he knows the objective of his job is to get that deal approved.
This is so good. This is such a well-oiled machine. What does the next iteration of Penny look like? Does it go, is it the same thing, just 2x or 3x or 10x or what's it? What does it look like next?
I, from the beginning, have seen Penny as a very vertically integrated business. Mm-hmm. So there's that. But in order for me to be able to work on that and build that out, I have to do less of what I'm currently doing. So there's going to have to be a process of me moving into more of on the business rather than in the business, which is in progress right now. So that's kind of already happening. I absolutely plan to keep building it out as it is. So adding more brokers, adding more support, whether that's 2x, 5x, 10x, realistically, it's limitless because what it comes down to is lead flow. And that is what I kind of have down pat.
And that's what I was about to ask you. You mentioned earlier, you said, you got to do what you're best at. What is Morgan best at?
Generating business.
And that's the content stuff. That's
right.
The social media.
That's right. That's the partnerships. That's everything.
Right.
That's building the brand.
So that's where your focus goes to next, doubling down on what you're already excellent at.
I think so.
All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. How are the broker roles structured in the business?
The $1 million question.
Because there's so many ways to chop this up. Do you know what I mean? And there's always so much. So how do you do it?
Well, it's evolved over the years. So I kind of have 3 models to work with me. Mm-hmm. The Penny model, so where you're coming into the business, you're essentially part of the Penny ecosystem. You get Penny leads, the booked calendar, the whole production line that I just mentioned to you, and you're plugged in at the stage of you just got to have conversations with clients that are already fully engaged, already want to work with us, and it's just about farming that deal and figuring out exactly the best way to help that client, right?
Pure loan writing.
Pure loan writing.
Yeah.
That is the whole job. And you don't have to worry about the admin, chasing up the documents. You don't have to worry about if the settlement's going to go through. You don't have to worry about getting the deal approved, as long as you put together a good deal. And that's the other thing. We don't put up shit deals. We don't put up deals that aren't going to get approved. Like, the conversion rate has to be high. Don't screw around with it, right? Don't just pump apps in and think that that's the job done, right? Like, it has to be a quality app in the client's best interest, and it's going to come out the other end approved and settled. Otherwise, what the fuck is the point? Let's just be clear.
You get paid for what you finish, not for what you start.
You get, and that's the nature of our business, and then you got the cash flow to worry about, right? So then that sort of feeds into this conversation. You know, when you're starting out, if you're starting out with capital versus starting out with no capital, that's going to have an impact on how you can pay brokers, right? Do you have the money or not? And I think it's worth the investment for the right person, for sure. So I've always reinvested back in. I've taken very, very little out. It was only for the period of time where I had the partners in the business that I even took a salary. Right? Outside of that, I've pumped everything back as much as I can because I've wanted to grow. That was my intention. And I think if you're just pulling out all the profit, well, where are you reinvesting back into your business? And what are you even doing with that money? Like, who knows? So back to the broker models. So under my penny model, there is two ways to go about it. One is comms and one is PAYG.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes down a lot to the person. You know, I've had plenty of people that have come through my business that want to buy homes or are in the process of, you know, they bought land and they know they need that steady income. And so PAYG is the right move for them, right? But it doesn't mean that they then can't move on to a comm structure later or into a different model later. Others that from day dot want to back themselves in, and so prepared to maybe take a haircut and take a hit in the early days to then have the split of the commission and the share of the trail as well along the way. So that's I actually have both of those options, and I spend a lot of time now, which I didn't do previously. Spend a lot of time now trying to talk people out of it.
Out of which? Out of what?
All of it. The whole thing. Broking's fucking hard. And so if you're not
What is going on here, Morgan?
Honestly.
What do you mean?
Honestly, like, because I have people reach out to me all the time, right? Oh, I think, you know, you're inspiring. I want to become a broker, or, you know, I want to write more. Like, how do I do that? You know, and they come and talk to me. Vass is an example of one of my brokers that I have where we pretty much courted each other for like a year.
Really?
Right? So he was in retail. He's got an uncle who's a broker, but that uncle is a one-man band and he is not changing that. And so there was no opportunity for him to go and work for him. He started following me online and was really obviously resonating with what we were doing. The first thing I do is I'm like, well, you got to go do your course. And so most people I sit down with, I tell them to go do their course and I never hear from them again.
They're just,
right?
They're not even willing to put in that minimal amount of effort to get a Cert 4 diploma.
Exactly.
Oh,
and also the time it takes for you to do that as well says a lot to me about you.
Surely you can smash it out in a couple of weeks.
You can.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Well,
Surely
this is it. And how
done.
you do the little things, especially in the early days, is such a clear indicator of how you're going to perform later on. I definitely used to give people way too much rope and way too much like, oh, I'm sure they'll get better. They probably won't.
How long? How long do they have, Morgan? It's I can see the pain in your eyes. How long do they have, you reckon? Is it 4 months? Like if someone's not performing in 4 months, they're probably not going to make it?
Definitely.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
Yeah,
the first, look, I'd say 6.
6 months.
Like, I mean, you got the probation to worry about, so take that into account. But up to that sort of period of time, people do need that runway.
Yes.
And you got to work out, have we got a skill problem? Have we got a will problem? Like, you know, kind of maybe why are they not performing? In my business, it's not a lead flow issue.
There's just so much opportunity.
There's so much opportunity. But you still, even though that's the case, there's still some people who, again, super hungry, will just want to go after it and will farm any and all opportunity out of that database, or others that will be more than happy to just sort of sit back and have their hand out and just wait and not follow up and not, do you know what I mean? So like, even if the lead flow's there, you've still got to have that hunger mentality. You really do. And I'm the sort of boss, leader, whatever you want to call me, that I am not a micromanager, right? I hated being micromanaged as a team member because I did the job and I did it so fucking well as if it was my own business, every single job I've had ever since I was 13 years old, right? And so then I kind of just expected that that's how everyone did it. And turns out not the case, right? But I don't like micromanaging people. I want to know that I've hired an A player, I've given you the tools, and I'm going to give you the space to go and do the job. I care about results. I'm an outcomes driven person. So if you're happy and if the client's happy, the job's being done and it's all happening all within a relatively good period of time, we're meeting all of our compliance obligations, I'm going to leave you alone. Do your thing.
It's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of people I need to surround myself with. And over the years, I've learned that the hard way, because I've had people that, there's just been this conflict with us because it's almost like they needed me to hold their hand the whole time. And I'm like, mate, I don't have time for that. It's not that I don't like you. It's not that I'm being mean, and this is a real challenge I've experienced over the years of being a female leader. It's like, because I am pretty blunt, as maybe you're picking up. I can be blunt. I can be straight. But again, I'm not being mean in any way. I'm just being honest, and I'm just saying how it is because I just don't have time.
Do you know what's funny? As you're saying this, right? As you're saying this, I remember when I first got started and my boss, I'd write these emails, oh, hey, Mr. Boss, hey, how are you today? Blah, 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 blah.
And you get a response.
And it would be like a 3-word answer. And he came out of the office, he goes, Sam, I've got no time for niceties, mate. He goes, let's just do the work. I went home, I said to my wife, this bloke's a dickhead. And now I say to people, mate, if you can't say it to me in a text, it's too long. If you can't, and now
you get it.
I've become what I dreaded. But it's true. No one's got time. No one's got time.
And it depends on the context, right? If you're, if you got a new client, you're sending a welcome email, you've just had your first call, and you're emailing them and giving them a recap of what's going on, what's going to happen next. Add the goddamn fluff.
Yes.
Right. Add the fluff, all the niceties, but template that shit. Also, don't write that email every single time for the most part. But when it comes to doing the job day to day, work out what that communication strategy is. I've moved everyone into Slack now. So the business operates from an internal comms perspective on Slack. The team's not emailing each other. And if you've got a team, you shouldn't be doing that. It just clogs everything up. And if you're in your inbox, you're probably being unproductive as well, because you're just doing what everyone else wants you to do as opposed to probably what you need to be doing. So but this again goes back to having the right people around you. So I can't have people around me that are going to get offended if I reply to a text message, okay, cool. Or even just okay. Because I didn't have a kiss or a love heart and sometimes I'll do that, and so then maybe that's my problem. Maybe sometimes I'm doing it, sometimes I'm not. And then they think I'm mad at them and I'm like, oh God, this is too much. You don't know that I've had 14 million other things going on right now. You think that I'm mad at you, mate. I'm not even thinking about that.
Yeah.
But that's where, as a leader, okay, so I understand there's different people within my team that you maybe be a little bit more gentle with than others, but then also they need to know that that's it. This is just kind of who I am, and you don't need to worry about it. But if you're feeling worried, come to me. Because if I don't know that you're feeling a certain type of way, I don't know you're feeling a certain type of way, and I can't do anything about that, right? Don't let it go. Don't let it fester. Don't be stressed and worried and be at home being like, oh my God, she's such an asshole. Just come and talk to me, right? We'll figure it out. And if we can't figure it out, that's also okay.
Yes. What is your conversion rate? And the reason I asked this question is because a lot of the brokers that I speak to get really worried when they have a hire and it doesn't work out, right? And I know in my last business when I sold, there was probably about 40 of us, and we probably had hired 120 people to end up with that 40, right? So you had circa, call it 30% conversion rate. What's your conversion rate on hiring team members for total amount hired and the people that are in the team at the moment?
We should do that number, fact check it, and report back later.
Okay,
but it would be low.
Yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah,
right?
It'd be low for sure. I
think it feels worse for people when they're having to hire and fire people.
Oh my God! And also, add to that, I have an online presence, so if there's a turnover in my business, everyone knows about it.
Yeah, because it's out there for the entire world to see.
That's right. I think a lot of the reason I've been able to get to where I am currently, and I'm not saying I've made it in any way. I've got so much left to do. I feel like I'm literally just getting started at this point. But you got to kind of fuck it up to learn to be better.
It's the only way.
Right? It's the only way.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. So if you're sitting on the sidelines being like, oh, I'm worried that they won't stay with me, and then therefore you're not hiring them, and therefore you're staying in the business and you're doing all of the work as opposed to putting someone in there, you will stay in the same spot until you make that change, right? So why not, figure out what your values are. What are your non-negotiables? Start there. bring people in. And if they're not meeting the expectations, if they're not getting the results, you're paying them a fucking wage. Well, I'm sorry, it's not working out.
And it's not the end of the world. That's okay.
But it will hurt. Just to be clear.
Yeah,
I get emotional as shit. I cry. I'm like in the corner. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Everyone hates me. Like I'm so bad at this. You like 100%. I go through that every single time without fail. But then you hire the next person and they're better. And the business moves forward and you get better. And it's just life.
And it's the right thing for the person as well that's exiting the business, because they're probably going on to do something.
Right.
That's right. There's something that's a better fit for them, and they're going to do better in life, and it's going to influence other factors of their life, and they'll continue to go on and on. Mm-hmm. What do you look for when you are trying to hire someone? Is there a certain character? Is there a certain skill set? What is it that you look for? My
number one over the years, and like, I think what happens is you don't know what you don't know about yourself, right? But one, like my top fundamental thing is someone who is positive. Someone is solution focused, because I simply can't stand being around people that are fucking negative.
How do you test for that? How do you
tell?
Determine?
Come on, Sam.
It's just a gut feel.
If you have a conversation with someone and you talk to them about their life and what's happened and how they've kind of got to where they are, and if they're the sort of person that is going to blame everybody else, can't take accountability, is not, again, solution focused, can't work it out themselves, is constantly diverting to, that's not going to work for me. Right. So it actually doesn't even matter if you know how to write alone, because I can actually teach you to do that. I taught myself. Right. So it's the energy for me is a really, really big one, because I get really affected by energy. So again, over the years, and I didn't necessarily know this, but I've had to actually cut out a lot of people along the way. And I didn't necessarily know why I was doing it or how I was doing it, but it was because if I walk away from a conversation with someone, and it could have gone for 10 minutes, it could have gone for 3 hours, whatever the time frame, doesn't even matter. You will either feel energized by that conversation or you'll feel drained by that conversation.
Oh, fuck. I resonate with this so much.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I don't have time for it.
Nah, you need your fucking energy.
Yep.
I get all my energy from fucking other people. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. But I'm betting as well, you get really drained by it too. If the wrong energy
destroys me.
Correct. There you go.
It destroys me. I need to take that good energy out of people. Otherwise.
And how unproductive are you going to be, yourself, if you have nothing in the tank, right? And that's what there's been situations where I've had, whether it's relationships or the staff, whatever it is, and I walk away from it and you feel so depleted, you feel so shit. And for me to then go out and be who I need to be and be online and be positive and happy, like, it's so much harder to do that. But when I'm so excited and I'm full of energy, it's so easy.
You just piss it in. It's done.
That's it.
It's done.
I walk around Sydney pretending like I know where I'm going.
Yes, you do. I can attest to that. That is a true fact. What was the hardest part going from being the primary loan writer to not being the primary loan writer?
Well, that's still in progress, but it's the people and it's the perception of no one can do it as good as me, which realistically in my business is probably true, right? Because it's mine. No one's going to care as much as me. I built the process. I built the system. I know it like ABCD, can do it with my eyes closed, can, all the things. Easy for me to do, right? So me at 100% is going to be probably better than anyone that I can bring in, right? But if I'm doing that work, then I can't do the other work, which is going to have more of an impact and an effect on the growth of the business, so then I can keep feeding everybody else, right? So then once you've got staff and you've got all those wages, you need them to be effective. Now, even if your team, you can get them to be sort of, I'm going to say somewhere between 70 to 80% as good as you, and you can then not do that job, guess what you get back?
You get 160%.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even just 2. And if there's 10, you get 700%.
Exactly. You can't grow without people.
Yes.
You just simply can't, right? So yes, you've got to figure out the right type of people, the people that you want to be around, but then you got to let it go as well. And I think that is absolutely going to be a something that most brokerages, most founders, most CEO, whichever role you call yourself within your business, that's going to be the hardest part for most people, is actually stepping back. Because for as long as, and this happens to me, right? I'm out a lot. I'm here right now. You know, my team's taking care of everything. I know they are, yeah? But if I'm in the office, if I'm there, who are they coming to? Me.
You.
Yeah. If I'm there, they'll come to me, right? But if I'm not there, they'll figure it out. They'll work between themselves, and they get there eventually. Sure, maybe I can probably solve it quicker, right? But they're more resourceful when I'm not there. And like it's a work in progress. You can't just go cold turkey, right? I got a business to take care of. I got clients to take care of. I do still, and I am still involved. No, of course not. No, and I would never, ever, ever do that. You got to go through the process, but I think letting go is really hard because it's your baby. Like I literally feel like Penny's like my child.
100%.
You know, it's without that, like who even am I at this point, right? Like it's become so much a huge part of my identity and who I am and what I do and who I help and who I affect. So it's hard.
How much of business do you reckon's got absolutely nothing to do with money and everything to do with who you become in life?
I am constantly evolving, constantly, right? But if we put this in the sort of the broker conversation, a lot of what I speak to when I'm talking to someone new, either new to the industry or wanting to go out on their own, a conversation you've got to have with yourself or a mentor or someone else around you is, what sort of business do you want to have? Okay. And we were touching on this earlier, because you can go realistically one of two ways. You can be the man, you can be the hero, you can be the lone rider, you can be the broker, and you can build an army of people around you to support you on that endeavor, right? You can do it that way. But I think all you're doing in that case is buying yourself a job, okay? Because it will and continue to be completely reliant on you in so many aspects of it, right? And that makes me feel like I'm trapped, right? Like kind of a bit like a prison in a way. So you can love what you do, sure, but at some point, aren't we all here just trying to get to a point where we can actually stop trading time for money and we can actually have freedom? And the most luxurious version of that is time. So if you can't get that back for yourself, and in that model, you simply can't, then you have to decide what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And frankly, it's more profitable. So
1000%. It is so much more profitable, right?
Mean profit, tick. But
you take your cash and you run.
Yes,
you run
exactly. And if you're then
cash.
using that and investing in other things and that's going to be your path and that's your choice, great. Wasn't my choice, yeah? I went the other way. I set out from the very beginning. Like I said, I even paid someone before I knew how to pay anyone, right? Before I had the money to do it. I was like, here we go. Negative money. Oh, what's that red on the P&L? Oh, that's probably not good.
It's not ideal. It's frowned upon.
Yeah. But I knew that I wanted to create something much bigger than me. And for that, I was going to need people. So that who are we becoming thing, for me, I've always been quite entrepreneurial. Like obviously I love doing deals, but I love being sort of here, there and everywhere and sort of just making shit happen, right? And so if I'm stuck in the business and I'm feeling stifled in that way, I'm not being my best self. And so I need to create an environment where I can be at my best, I can be playing to my strengths, and then that's going to help feed everybody else. And then within your team, you then need to have those same conversations with them too, because they need to be on that same journey. Why are they here? Where are they trying to get to? What is it, the PAYG structure? Are they planning on moving into the comm structure? Do they want to have their own business at some point? And so that's another thing. Going back to my models, I also have an affiliate model where I'm their mentor and they're part of our group. They're under our sub-license, but they have their own brands. And so when I'm initially talking to people and I'm figuring out, are we going to bring them into Penny or are we going to have them do their own thing? This entrepreneurial spirit is a big part of that, because everyone, I'm guessing, who has a business with staff, who's had then people leave and go out and do their own thing, it's challenging, right? It's a hard pill to swallow, but my accountability on that is that now I'm trying to do better to realize that if that's their spirit, if that's what they want, then let's help facilitate that from the start.
They're going to do it anyway. You might as well help facilitate it along the way. So how does that mentor, mentee, affiliate model, how does it work? It's really interesting.
Via SFG, they're which I love, they're not just recruiting anybody, no disrespect, but you can't just sort of be a new to industry, single broker, trying to make it and joining direct with SFG. But you can join via, let's just call it a sub-ag.
I was going to say, so it's like a sub-aggregator.
Yeah, kind of like a sub-aggregator. So I hold the head license, and then what I then have is a model where we have a monthly fee to cover obviously all the aggregation, or the mentoring, and then a percentage of the commission. Because realistically, if I'm going to help you build your business, then I need to have a stake in that, right? And I'm going to help you do that. And I've done it over and over and over and over.
Yeah, I love this. You're teaching them how to get on socials and all that too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So good.
That's right. But going back to that, like, I'm not just going to have anyone come on board for that, because I'm not going to be the best person for everybody, you know, which is totally fine. And again, going back to time, I've got to have enough time to give them enough of me to be able to make sure that they can be successful in their own right. But, you know, one of my guys, he was an Aussie broker. He was, you know, getting paid in terms of a split very little for what he was doing, you know, because if you break down, let's go back to what's the right model. And I don't know. I don't have it all figured out. Like, maybe between the two of us and we speak to enough people, we can try to get to like some sort of gold standard here. I don't know. Happy
maybe on the boat
figure
tomorrow night we're going to figure this out.
I think
maybe on the boat we're going to
all the problems of the world.
There's not going to be a problem left after we get off that boat tomorrow night.
Exactly. But you know, if you think about it, without the lead, there's no deal. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Right. Okay, let's just start there.
That is a fair assumption. That is a fair,
assumption.
reasonable assumption.
So if you're generating your own leads, not off the back of anybody else, not off the back of anyone's platform, not off the back of you working for anybody else, you, yourself, generating your leads, friends, family, or otherwise, well, you deserve a better part of the commission, right? Because you generated that deal. If you're then doing a lot of the work along the way, you're catching your own documents, you're chasing your own, you know, MIRs with the lender, you're doing your own settlements. Well, also you should be getting, you deserve more of the commission because you're doing more of the work. But in my model, I'm generating the lead, I'm doing your admin, I'm doing your processing, I'm doing your settlement. So the commission split under my penny model is going to be smaller than if you were doing all that work yourself.
But that's the natural order of things, because the more value the brokerage is providing to the broker, the higher the lion's share of the revenue that the brokerage should keep.
Because it's expensive as well.
100%.
This is an expensive business to run, to have support staff.
That was actually one of the other questions. How do you juggle cash flow in a growing business? Because in a business, terribly... Because it's hard. Like a business that has ceased growing can manage, when it hits maturity, can manage cash flow relatively easily. But when you've got a growing business, the pace of growth, the faster it is, the faster the cash burn, or the heavier the cash burn.
I have gotten comfortable with not having very much money in the bank.
I get it.
Right? And, you know, that's not for everybody. And I get that. I really, really, really do. And obviously that's not my intention forever. Yeah?
Yes.
But this goes back to, do you take out the profit or do you reinvest it? So when I get to the end of the year, to be honest, I actually don't want to see huge profits, because you know what you have to do with that?
Pay some tax.
And I really don't like doing that. So if I can figure out a better way to reinvest back in,
yes,
right, whether that's through people, whether that's through marketing, there's a few things that I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let's spend that money, because it's growing the business. Isn't that the point?
The bet is investing money today, $1 today, to get more than $1 back in some time in the future. Do you know what I mean? So you sacrifice cash flow in the short term, building the brokerage.
But it also depends on how quick you want to grow. Like, I'm impatient. Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm trying to do this thing, and I'm trying to go, and I'm trying to go. I'm doing next thing, and next thing, next thing, next thing. If I was happy to just cruise, well, then maybe I'd be... I actually can't resonate with that, because that's just simply not me.
You don't even want to think about it. You're like, oh, yuck, I'm not doing that.
But there would be plenty of people that are going to prioritize their profit and their dividend, because, you know, the way that they've set up their life is that they've got a big mortgage, or they've got kids' private school fees and all this sort of stuff, right? Get it. Yeah. But I started Penny with literally nothing. I didn't have kids to be concerned about. I didn't have all these big expenses. I'd sold my property and got that all, like, got rid of in the divorce. I was starting with nothing. Yeah. I had nothing to lose either, and literally less than nothing to lose. So do you know what I mean? Like, So I think I just have a different pain tolerance. Now, does that mean it's not hard? Fuck no. It is hard, and it is absolutely so stressful at times. But this is where understanding the business, the cash flow cycle of a broking business is really critical. And you talk about this, and you're 100% right.
People come unstuck. They really get fucked. You know what I mean?
You have to understand, and this was part of the issue I had with my investors, because they were kind of like, why isn't the money from that deal you spoke to yesterday in the bank account? It's like, oh my God.
We're not selling hot dogs here, man. You know what I mean?
I can't even tell you how far off you are. And it was so hard because I was like bashing my head against the wall trying to explain how this works. But it's at least 4 months. I agree with you. Yeah. From the moment you're generating that lead or even interacting with whoever it is going to be at the beginning, all the way through to getting all the shit from them, all the way through to getting the loan done, all the way through to spinning out the other end, all the way through to them buying, all the way then through to us settling and then getting paid.
Yeah.
Like, it's extraordinary. So you have to just sort of forecast that. So I'm always with my tracking, I'm always looking at where I'm expecting things to land and pushing it out into the future. You kind of know what your fixed costs are, what your fixed expenses are, and you know you can cover them. And that's kind of that's as pretty simple as I'm no accountant, I'm no genius when it comes to this, but it's kind of like, I have this amount of money that I need to spend every month, which means I've got to have this amount of money come in, which means that I've got to write this amount of business. Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's obviously more to it, but it's not that complicated, right? And so you've got to be able to drive in enough business to do enough apps to get enough settlements to have enough money to pay for your expenses. Now, I'm also not that interested in just cutting costs either, because I think that that's also a way to just keep yourself stuck and not grow your business. I know plenty of people that aren't investing in marketing, and I think that that's a mistake. You know, plenty of people that aren't investing in people, and I think that that's a mistake. So I've always probably spent money ahead of when I could probably afford it, but it's meant I could grow.
There's no other way. You can't. It's the spend has to come before the growth. Like, you don't grow and then spend money. Do you know what I mean?
And the cool thing about our business is there's trail.
That's the best thing,
right?
About our
the
business.
Trail is building. Yeah,
correct.
So investing in the people, writing more loans, your loan book's growing. That pressure over the years sort of simmers off a little bit. Now, I remember being super jealous, like at the start, because I had nothing. Right, starting from zero, no loan book, no trail. But then, you know, you're essentially competing in a market against businesses that have been doing it for 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years. You have these huge trail books that they can use to just keep spending money, right? Keep their lights on, grow their businesses. Yeah, like, I had to be a bit more patient and realize that, okay, I can't do that all right now, but I will get there. And it's going to build, but you have to think ahead of what you're going to try to create and invest in that ahead of time.
It is a long-term business model. It truly is. It's like when you compare it against other buyers agents and things like that, the upfront, it's much larger. Do you know what I mean? For the workload. But if you can compound a mortgage business for 10 years, right? You arguably could be doing $100,000 a month in trial or more. Do you know what I mean? And that level of consistency gives you comfort to make bigger and bigger bets because you know that money's coming. Do you know what I mean? You're not relying on the next deal.
That's the way I looked at it.
All right. So
the trail is what was really exciting to me. Like, when I was in fitness and I was kind of reaching this level of my career, and I was like, I just feel like there's a ceiling here, and that was really annoying me. And I knew I wanted to have a business, but I was also so keenly interested on passive income and how to generate passive income. And I thought that I needed to do that through property. That was in my early 20s. That's what I thought I was going to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I almost stumbled across mortgage broking, I was like, this is genius.
I felt the same way. I remember when I found out about Trail, I almost fell off my seat. I remember getting in the car, ringing my wife, said, we're going to be rich. We're going to be rich. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Trail, Elise, Trail. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Sam? And I drove home and I'm like, you get paid an upfront commission. And then you get paid Trail as long as the loan's there. I was a spray painter, Morgan. If I paint a bumper bar and I get a couple $100, if the paint stays on the bar, I don't get a couple $100 the next fucking month. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it just blew my mind. I thought I'd like solved all the fucking world's problems.
And then you realise.
And then you realise. All right. What is the best piece of advice that you would give to a new broker?
Know that it's not easy. So I think that there is a few people that are coming in. The course is easy, low barrier to entry. It's like, I can start giving people advice on their mortgages. Like, it's not going to be easy, not to be successful, not to generate leads, not to be consistent, not to build a business, not to scale a business. It's going to be hard. Understand that, strap in, and you're going to have to know that it's going to be really challenging and a grind, and that's okay. Also, I think back to what we were talking about earlier, decide who you're going to be. Are you going to be the hero and build the team around you and be profitable? But buy yourself a job, right? And I know plenty of guys running stupid money, like stupid volume, doing that model, 100%. But I'm not envious, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not, because every day that goes by that my team is taking care of things and I get to sit here and have conversations like this with you and know that that's being taken care of, the relief I feel is incredible.
Yeah.
So decide who you're going to be. Are you going to have the business, build the team around you? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just know what you're getting yourself into, and ideally reinvest your money into other things. So then you're building your assets outside. So then you're going to still eventually get yourself to a point where you can stop trading time for money, because that is realistically what everyone's goal should be, right? A long term. And then beside that is, if you're going to have a company, cool. That's what you want to do. That's great. But then what it also all boils down to is marketing and brand. And if you have to focus on that and you have to invest in that early, I think, and I personally think for me, I'm not saying I was the first one to do it, but I was definitely, there wasn't too many people doing what I was doing at the start, putting out a pink fucking logo, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I kind of set out to create a business that was very different than what already existed. I wanted to stand out. Like, you look at the website, you look at our images, we've got colors all over it, I didn't want to be just like everybody else, because I'm not like everybody else, and that didn't resonate. So brand, marketing, social media. I started with pure organic content. Like, I did not spend $1 because I didn't have $1. Like, let's just be honest. To
be clear, I would have spent $1 if I had it.
Oh, for sure. But Sam, I would have blown it. I would have blown that money.
Why do you think you would have blown it?
Because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, fuck. No one knows what they're doing at the start. Morgan.
Exactly. Now, if you have money and you can afford to blow some money, I also think that's really powerful, right? So if you're starting a business and you're starting with some capital, I would be deploying that fairly well into generating leads, organic content, ads, put yourself out there, because the more you do, the better you get. And so with starting with the organic stuff, you kind of work out what works, you kind of work out who your tribe is, realize who's listening to you, realize what's landing with them, what's not landing with them. I put videos together sometimes. I'm like, this is amazing. It's going to be so great. Flop. And then you do something that you just, whatever. And then all of a sudden that's gone really well. And, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have the secret sauce. My secret sauce is I'm consistent.
How are you so consistent?
You got to have a framework for that. So when I started, I didn't. And it was just a case of, shit, I got to post a story today. Shit, I got to put a reel out today. Oh my God, this is just, I'll just do it. Right. And, I'd pretty much spend my weekends and I'd just batch create a whole lot of stuff, and I was doing it all myself. And I wasn't great at that, right? Because I can do the idea thing, I can do the talking thing, but then sitting down and cutting it together and like, that was just all too much.
Work.
Oh my God, it's so much work.
I reckon it's more than half the work.
It is. Play to your strengths. Play to your strengths. So if you're starting out and you have some money to spend, put that into having someone do that piece of the puzzle for you, editing, even filming. So now what I have is a team. Right? Now I have someone who plans the concepts, sends them to me for approval, comes out, films me, right? Doing it, takes the videos away, cuts them all together, does all the captions, schedules the posts. Presto.
So you're doing 15% of the work. You're doing the stuff in front of the camera, bring the energy, do as many. Well, you got to think about the other 85% of the time that you're saving. That's 85% extra time that you could be in front of the camera, which is the one piece of the puzzle that you actually got to be there. Unless you make an AI version of Morgan, you actually got to be there in front of the camera doing the doing.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to figure that out, from the ad hoc style of content creation to the methodical style of content creation?
That was more of a money thing. Like, I knew from the start that I had to spend money to make money. And I've never been afraid of that. I knew at some point I wanted to make sure that I could have someone do that. And so pretty much as soon as I could barely afford it, I started investing in that. So I really only did it myself. Fully myself for maybe like 6 to 7 months.
Yeah.
But then the next person that I brought in didn't do what they do now. The next person that I brought in realistically just was coming up with concepts, because then at that time I was like, I don't have time to think about all the things. So they were just coming up with concepts. I'd go away, I'd film it, I'd still edit it all together, and I'd still post it. And I was like, nah, it's still too much, can't do it. So then the next person that I had started to take more of the pieces of the puzzle. And so then now where it's at is all I have to do is film. All I have to do is show up. So again, playing to your strengths. And I think it's a similar thing within your broking business. And that's kind of the way that I've grown that as well. Like I knew from day one that I was best in meetings with clients, doing the deals. And if I was spending my time chasing up documents or fucking talking to the lenders or spitting at some lawyer because they're not getting my settlement done today, I can't be in front of the clients. I didn't really spit at them, but you know what I mean. I've definitely lost my shit at a few solicitors over my time.
Oh,
like, you need to get this done today.
Some of them are so grumpy, man. I don't know why. It's like, why you got the shits for, man?
You do have to push the needle. You do have to like make shit happen in this industry. It's something that I teach my team is that like all the pieces of the puzzle, whether it's the conveyances, whether it's the buyer's advocates, whether it's the lender, whether it's a lender's solicitors, like I need you to be across all the things, because we just can't simply with blind face trust that they're doing their job really well. Like we had a situation the other day, just to go off topic for a second, where client buys a property for purchase price was an investment property. I think it was 650,000, give or take. Sends through the contract. We do the loan. We get it approved. We're at loan docs. We sign loan docs. Fast forward, we're ready to settle. Get to settlement day, and they're like, "Oh, we can't settle." It's like, why? It's like, because the purchase price has changed. I'm like, since when? So what had actually happened along the way, like probably within a few days of the purchase, they'd renegotiated and reduced the purchase price.
No one said anything.
No one said anything. Like, do you want to tell your broker? Like, so the real estate agent knew about it, the buyer's advocate knew about it, the client solicitor knew about it, the client knew about it.
They just kept me in the dark, Morgan.
Come on. So you gotta just be so close. But the point of that is I can't do that on all the files. So you've got to have the right people in the right places. You got to be following up. You got to be the squeaky wheel to make sure that shit gets done.
So your same methodology when it comes to marketing, it's the same with running the business and actually writing the home loans.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Are you putting money behind your content outside of the production? You're not running cold ads, are you?
What's a cold ad?
Like to a cold audience. You're doing it with your content yourself.
I don't know if I know what you're talking about, but I do two separate things.
I'm going to get better at asking questions.
No.
In my head, it made sense.
No, well, maybe. Like, let me tell you what I do, and you can tell me if I'm doing what you think I'm doing.
Deal.
So, plenty of organic content that just goes out every week without fail. Like, you'll see it on my Morgan Instagram. You'll see it on the Penny Instagram. So, between the two, you're going to have probably 6 pieces of content that's going out on the grid, and then you're going to have stories here, there, everywhere, all day, every day type thing, right? And I don't do like 10 stories a day. It's kind of like just what I'm doing and how I show up and nurturing your people that are already following you. Because what I think is your posting is to try to reach non-followers. Mm-hmm. So you're putting stuff out there, trying to get that in front of non-followers. Ideally, those people see you enough, which is where the consistency piece comes in, that they're like, oh, this is interesting. I keep seeing her pop up. What's she talking about? Come over to your page, see a whole heap of shit that resonates, hit the follow button, right? Then once they're there, you then have to nurture them. You then have to nurture that audience that you've worked so hard to build, which is where stories comes in. So I post on stories because that's only realistically going out to the people that are following you. And if you're putting up stuff that, again, people are interested in from a behind the scenes point of view, they'll click more. They'll want to see more. They want to know what you're doing. So that's kind of the organic strategy. There's more to it, but broadly, that's what I do. And then ads, we create specific content for ads to sell something in particular. So I've got a whole bunch of lead magnets. So that content, that ad strategy is going out there. But for the most part, what we're trying to do is generate booked calls. Booked calls in calendars. Booked calls in calendars. That is the whole game.
Booked calls in calendars. And it's a fucking good metric. What out of your lead flow, right? Let's say for saying 100% of the lead flow comes from Insta, right? Which obviously you got different lead sources. how much of it is coming from the actual advertising and how much of it is coming from the organic content?
The bulk of it's coming from ads.
Really?
Yeah. The bulk
See,
the bulk
everybody,
of it. Yeah.
run ads.
Yeah.
I bang on about it. Everyone looks
Yeah.
at me like I've got two heads, and it's
No.
like, no, come on.
No, but I do. There's power in the both though.
Yes.
Because if you're just putting out ads, people aren't just. Well, I'm not saying people. I can't just say people. I can't just say everyone. I said let's say most people aren't just going to see one ad and buy from you. Right? Most people need to see you show up multiple ways, multiple times to then get interested in buying something from you. So if you're just putting out cold ads and they're like, oh, this is interesting, and then they go to see more of you on your Facebook page, which I don't do, but or your Instagram, for instance, and what's there is just utter shit. Well, they're probably going to be disinterested, aren't they? Right? So you've still got to put out organic stuff too and fill up your page. And what the organic stuff is about, it's about providing value without asking for anything.
Yeah, no sell. Just at value.
Look, I think you can sell. I just think you shouldn't sell every time.
The old jab, 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 right hook style
That's right.
methodology.
That's right. Because if you've got something really fucking cool to sell, make sure people know that. But also provide value. That's with your online content. That's with the way you do your broking. That's with the way you do your meetings. That's the way you should go about life. Is that if you're not adding enough value, don't expect people buy from you and don't expect people are going to keep coming back and telling people about it.
Be useful, they reckon.
Be useful.
Be useful.
Yeah.
If you had to give one piece of advice to young Morgan, what would it be?
Be patient and don't trust everybody. So the be patient part is I am a say yes, worry about the details later, fast mover, fail fast, all of that's completely fine. But the results and where you're trying to get to, it can't and won't happen immediately. So there does need to be some patience around that and trust the process that it is going to come. Right? If you keep the grind up, if you keep doing the work, if you keep showing up, it will happen. The results will be there. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. And the trusting people thing, that's been a really harsh lesson. I give the trust, like people start with me with a full bucket of, previously they would have started with me with a full bucket of trust. And then it's kind of up to them to diminish that. And then what I figured out is almost everyone does that. So why do I give them that to start with? And I realistically should be making them earn that.
How do you do that?
You just be a little bit more reserved, like as opposed to sort of giving and sharing all up front and not thinking that people will do wrong by you. That's naive.
That's big lessons, big lessons for young Morgan. And I got the most important question of the day for you. What is your secret to top tier selfies?
You really want me to give this away?
Oh, you don't have to give it away. Give us a third of the secret. Give us a third of the secret.
All right. Okay. All right. So this is funny because I work in my office. I've got a pretty young team, right? Gen Z's everywhere. And obviously I do a lot of content. So, you start to see, and I was looking at these videos, I was looking at these photos, like, how are they getting that shot? Looks amazing. It's covering everything. I'm like, how are they doing that? So I asked one of my staff, I was like, guys, how are they doing these photos? Like ask the young ones. And it turns out that it's the 0.5 setting. So on your phone,
yeah,
when you go to your camera, do it now. Let's have a look.
Let's have a look. The
0.5 setting. Yep. Now, this is a big one. No. You're about to do it wrong. You're about to do it wrong.
Oh.
You have to turn the phone around and take the photo with the big camera on the back. The front camera is going to take a shit selfie. Every time you're going to have a big head in the forefront. It's not aesthetically pleasing, guys. Let's just be clear.
All right.
Camera. 0.5.
And what button do I press to take it?
So the bottom on your phone, it's probably going to be this bottom right. Yep. Make sure also, but another key. There's a few things. Clean your goddamn camera.
Clean the camera.
Right. Clean it.
If anyone's gotten this far in the podcast, it's all been worth it, I tell you. Straight out.
But if I start to see this, you better fucking tag me, all right? You better fucking tag me.
You have to tag. But how do you know if we're in the photo?
Okay, so this is how you know. Oh my God, I've got so many good so much good advice. Everyone in the photo,
Yeah.
so like me, and what's your name?
Lachlan.
Lockie's over here
All
too.
right, like you're-
If you can see the camera,
yeah.
you are in the shot.
If you can see the camera, you're
Yep.
in the shot.
Yep.
All right.
Ready?
Can everybody see the camera?
See ya. Yeah. All right, let's have a look. What have you got? What have you got? Did you get it?
It fucking works. It works. She's not lying. It works.
Got it.
Yes. Oh,
You're welcome.
oh, very good. All right. It doesn't look as good as Morgan's, but it's not a bad first go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up. Morgan, thank you so much. You're amazing. I really appreciate you coming on and talking with me today. I look forward to spending the next couple of days with you as well. Morgan Owen, Petty Finance, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.